The Memphis Grizzlies are 44-30 and number 5 in the West, and they just fired their head coach. But the funny thing is, right now they're number 5. Next week, they could potentially be in a play-in tournament. That's how serious the Western Conference is right now. But before we go any further, I just want to touch on them firing head coach Taylor Jenkins. Like, what happened? Last season they were 14. This season they're number 5. Pretty successful season, you would say. Number 5 in the West, and you get rid of your head coach. What's that all about?
Yeah, I think I was listening to a few podcasts, and the discussion was around, did he lose the locker room? So although they are number 5, they really haven't been playing at their best overall, especially defensively. And I think his voice was no longer being heard, right? Because not only did they fire their head coach, but they also got rid of 2 other assistant coaches as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was something about what they need to have seen, and I think it really was less about the success of the seeding, more about the connection between him and the players.
Yes, okay, because I did hear that Ja Morant didn't want to play within his system, which could explain why Ja was so much in and out of the locker room. I mean, in and out of
Right.
the lineup this season,
Yeah.
which is not a good thing. I keep saying, boy, the NBA is a cold game, and it's a players' league. These coaches, you think you're solid unless you with the Miami Heat. Everybody else, there's no loyalty to that head coaching spot.
None at all. But you know what? Unfortunately, I think we're still looking at the residuals from a John Morant's perspective of what he went through the previous season. Because he's only played about 44 games this season because he's had injuries and been out of the starting lineup, throughout the whole season. Him not being 100% healthy, right? Still, I think trying to acclimate himself back into playing, and then being in a scheme or a system that he doesn't want to play for. It, I think it hindered their chemistry. Maybe not their play, because they still have top seeding in the West, but it ain't enough. And now they have this new interim coach, and I'm sorry, then you guys lose your first game, then he's head coach of. Like, it doesn't look like a bright postseason future for the Memphis Grizzlies, in my opinion. And with them, from the post All-Star break, they've only won 8 out of 12 games. And then they have struggled beating top contenders. Well, guess what? These top contenders will be the ones that you will be competing against in the postseason. So if you can't beat them now, then how would I even suspect that you can do an upset in the postseason? I just don't see it. I don't see it, especially when their defense is not as consistent as it was in the past. So
Yes, yeah. Well, you hit all my points, but I will say, I don't think the front office believes in this group of players right now,
I
because
can
there's
support
no
that.
way that you would get rid of the head coach right now. The timing was terrible. Whether or not Coach Jenkins had the locker room, I think you still need to be consistent at the top. Let him finish the season. Let's see what he can do this season. I think it was rude to fire him heading into the postseason. Like, I don't know. I don't know. But I did notice Taylor Jenkins he started dancing like the players on the sidelines. I said, I don't know. I think there needs to be a division there. You're the coach, I'm the player. I think there needs to be a division. You can't act like the players and think, oh, that's how you're gonna
No,
get in their good graces. You can't do it.
he had to do that in order to connect. That's an indicator that
Yeah.
he's trying to figure out another way to connect with them. It has to be, right?
Mhm, mhm,
At the
mhm.
end of the day, with the firing of Coach Jenkins at this stage of the season, it leads me to believe that the organization is saying, we're just going to try again next season. They already
Yeah.
know they're not going
Yeah.
to do. How do you do that? They already know they're not going
Mhm.
to go deep. They already know that this season is a wash, and they're going to be gearing up for next season. And to your point, we may see a lot of movement from the Grizzlies organization regarding player changes in the offseason. That I think is going to really kind of reshape what the Grizzlies look like in the 2026 season, all centered around Ja Morant, of course. But I think there needs to be some changes as well. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
their roster is stale. And unfortunately, with them trading off Marcus Smart, I wish I could have seen what
Ah.
Marcus Smart could have done with the Grizzlies this season, along with Ja Morant, being back. So I kind of hate I missed that. They shipped him off to the Wizards. And so, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Now, speaking of defense, I know Jaren Jackson Jr. is one of the top defenders in the league, but you know what? He reminds me so much of Carl Anthony Towns, whereas he cannot stay out of foul trouble.
Yeah.
The Grizzlies need him. If they're going to make any type of run in the postseason, Jaren Jackson Jr. has to stay out of foul trouble. He's all they have in the middle. I mean, I'm looking at Zach Edey. Zach is going to be nice, but he's such a big body, can't slide his feet like Jaren Jackson, and he's not very vertical. Yeah, he can't get up.
Right.
So that's going to be a problem for them in the postseason, should they make it.
Yeah, and not only that, part of the postseason, especially in a 7-game series, requires you to be on the road. And the Grizzlies have not been successful on the road. In their last 5 games, their 5-game road trip, they only won 1, and it was against the Utah Jazz. What? You should have. Right, so then I'm concerned. So you go to 7 games, and some of them games are going to be on the road, and you're going to lose them anyway. Again, at the end of the day, with all we just talked about, the Grizzlies will see a round 1 exit. Who are they playing up against? The potential will be the Lakers. So we just saw the first game of a 7-game series.
Yeah. Yes, but okay, the bright side is Desmond Bane. I think Desmond Bane should... Wait, hold on. Okay. But you know what? The bright side is Desmond Bane. With Ja Morant being in and out of the lineup so much this season and all of last season for the most part, Desmond Bane has really solidified his spot as I think, golly, he's a number 3 option with Ja. Without Ja, I think he should be the number 1 option for the Memphis Grizzlies, followed by Jaren Jackson Jr. Desmond has revamped his entire body. His shot is falling. I just think he deserves more praise, and he's not getting it with the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah, and I think that praise is going to take place on another team.
Oh, no.
He is a nice piece to dangle for somebody else, yes. Right, because unfortunately, he's going to always be in the shadows of Ja Morant.
Man, I don't want to see Desmond Bane and Ja split up. I
would prefer to see Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. stay. But Desmond Bane, I think he can probably add a little. He can probably do something for another team like Brunson did for the Knicks. I'm just saying, so keep him bottled up with the Grizzlies, which if they do that, that's fine. They'll make it work with other pieces that they need to bring in. But I can see him being more successful on another team with all that skill set and get from behind the shadows of Ja Morant.
Okay. I mean, it's fair. And you're right. That is a good dangling piece.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know. Now, Desmond Bane and Santi Aldama had a little scuffle on the sideline under Taylor Jenkins's watch, or on his watch, I should say. That was also a bad look and an indication that maybe he doesn't have the locker room, as you mentioned.
See, yeah. So.
And I just wonder how that's going to roll over into future games with the Grizzlies. And it was all about defensive effort. And right now, their defense is not really good when Jaren Jackson Jr. is out. I had the Memphis Grizzlies upsetting a team in the postseason.
Oh, man.
Not anymore.
No.
Not anymore.
They are not a threat, unfortunately. And I don't even foresee them. And my hope is that it's not a sweep. Please don't get swept. Anybody that goes to round 1, if you have a round 1 exit, push it to 7 games, 6-7 games.
At least.
If it's a sweep, then you shouldn't have been there anyway. So,
Tough.